Daily Devotion with Pastor Balla for April 5th, 2025. Job's despair deepens, from Job chapter 30, verses 16 through 19. And now my soul is poured out within me. Days of affliction have taken hold of me. The night racks my bones, and the pain that gnaws me takes no rest. With great force, my garment is disfigured. It binds me about like the collar of my tunic. God has cast me into the mire, and I have become like dust and ashes. In this raw and unflinching passage, Job's lament reaches a new depth of anguish. His suffering has become all-consuming, afflicting him physically, emotionally, and spiritually. The poetic language he uses conveys the totality of his distress. His very soul is poured out. His bones racked with pain. His body so altered by disease that even his clothing fits differently. Job's words give voice to what many believers are reluctant to express: the overwhelming experience of suffering that seems to leave no part of life untouched. His pain is relentless, taking no rest, even through the long watches of the night. His body so changed by affliction that his garments hang differently. Most strikingly is Job's direct attribution of his suffering to God. God has cast me into the mire. This is not blasphemy, but brutal honesty before the one he knows is sovereign over all things. Job refuses to separate his circumstances from God's providence, even when that providence brings him to dust and ashes. This passage speaks powerfully to the Christian understanding of suffering. The Bible never promises believers immunity from pain. Rather, it assures us that our suffering occurs within God's sovereign care, not outside of it. Even when, like Job, we feel cast into the mire, we still remain in the hands of the one who promises never to leave us or forsake us. Christ himself experienced similar depths of anguish. On the cross, Jesus cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me?" The Son of God entered fully into human suffering, experiencing not only physical torment, but the spiritual anguish of seeming abandonment. Christ's suffering transforms our own, not by eliminating it, but by fulfilling it with redemptive meaning. For believers today, Job's lament offers several profound comforts. First, it gives us permission to be honest about our pain. We need not pretend that suffering is less severe than it is or deny its impact on our faith. Second, it reminds us that even the most faithful believers may experience seasons of overwhelming despair. Such experiences don't indicate spiritual failure, but human reality in a fallen world. Third, and perhaps most importantly, it points us to the truth that suffering, while real and devastating, is not the end of the story. Job's experience of being reduced to dust and ashes foreshadows Christ's death and burial, but also anticipates resurrection and restoration. When we find ourselves in seasons of deep anguish, we can echo Job's honesty while holding to the hope that Christ's resurrection provides. Our sufferings, like Job's, occur within a larger story of God's redemptive purposes that ultimately transform even our deepest pain into displays of His glory and grace. God's peace and many blessings be with you, and thank you for listening. And please take an opportunity to share this message with others.